Greatest of all your social media fun favorites, and of course, baby, I'm going to bring the foolery. Now, this is something new over here at FSU because y'all know FSU, baby, we be with all of the issues, okay? We be with all the shits. FSU stands for Fuck-ish University, fly, sophisticated, and unquittable, okay, baby? So, yeah, and I also just came up with another thing. And FSU also stands for Faith Sisters Undefeated. I think we've been on our faith. We've been on our accountability walk. We've been on our journey. We're trying to tap back into that. So before you can have any of that, before you can, really tap into really believing and hearing and seeing and feeling, you have to establish a foundation and a faith. So Faith Sisters Undefeated. I think once you have a faith, we locked in. You can be undefeated. There's nothing that you can't do. So, I'm so happy, like I said, to be doing this. We have Sade coming on. And Sade is a young lady who has been watching me over on YouTube. She has a channel of her own. And, she reached out to me. I said I was doing promo. And she reached out and she said, hey, Yanni, I would love for you to do promo from my channel. I am I believe third time recovering heroin addict. She is a mother of 3, okay? And Sade has been through some things. However, Sade has also overcame some things. And when she reached out to me to do promo, I was like, wow, I've never really came across this type of promo. Typically, you guys have mommy content, or you guys have cooking, or, you guys are in real estate, or you guys are in merch, or skincare and all of that type of stuff. So this was kind of new for me. So at first I thought she was trolling. I'm like, huh? So, but she had her link attached and all of that. So I went over to her page. And when I say, like I said, you guys, when I first told you about Sade, when I went to her page, I was really inspired. I was touched. I was motivated. There were some questions I had. I was, concerned at some points. It was a lot of different emotions, with going over there, and not in a bad way, right? It wasn't in a bad way. And that's what I think was so motivational for me, just to see someone go through that journey, and not be ever, like, I've never been privy to anyone going through that journey. So I think there's so many speculations and there's so many stereotypes. I think that, someone who has never been in that part of the world, or has walked that type of life, or has walked in that path, would even know, right? And I think, again, like I said, there's a stereotype that goes along with just, drug addiction in that period, just far as how they might mother, how they might show up for family. I think people assume, maybe everyone steals, everyone is maybe itching and scratching. I think there's a lot of stereotypes that goes into addiction, for various people and for various drugs, right? Especially when it comes to heroin. But when I saw Sade, it wasn't what I expected. Her dedication to her children, her dedication to, trying to stay clean and being conscious of wanting to be clean and all of those different things. It was interesting to me because I had never seen it from that part. You know what I'm saying? You always see them in their darkest, right? And you always see them from a place of it trying to be intervened. If you guys have watched the show Intervention, or you see it from a aspect of people making jokes, media. I see it more now. I see people who are homeless, people are using them for content. I see people who are under the influence of being used for content. People who are, like I said, high out of their mind. People are recording them nodding. People are recording them. And it's just gotten to a place where I think nobody just has compassion anymore. And myself, I had never really experienced people who were homeless. People go through different things. And a lot of people are on drugs for different reasons, right? Sometimes it slipped in them, it slipped to them, it snuck to them, they become addicted, they didn't even know. Sometimes they willingly participate and become addicted. Sometimes they go through depression and become addicted. There's various things, even with hoarding, right? Even with addiction period, whatever the addiction is, there's a reason for it. So I say that all to say, working in that environment taught me to have a little bit more, like I said, understanding, respect, especially, and compassion. How you meet somebody and you just with them and you don't care. You don't care what they got going on. That's a good ass person, and they could be high as the sky is long. you know, they're gonna carry it. If it's raining, they're going, you know, hey sis, hit them, who were addicts, who were high. I've had friends, childhood friends that I hadn't seen for years, walk into the store high, I didn't even know they was using, you know what I'm saying, nodding off at the counter. And I've seen so many different things there. But what it taught me was to have a level of respect and to just appreciate people for who they are. And I wanted us to, you know, just hear her side and her journey. And like I said, why you guys should subscribe and what to expect over there. So I believe we have Sade in the chat. I'm going to have to call my account to make sure that came in. It's just me and my gang. Hey, good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Don't be nervous. Shake it off.
I know.
Should I finish the song?
I just feel like I admire you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Be on here with you. I'm just like,
Oh.
I told my mom earlier, like, I talked to Yanni Bunny B.
Oh, thank you, girl.
Seriously.
I ain't know my girl here in my living room with you. That means a lot. Oh, I appreciate that. I love that. Thank you, sis. So I told you we were in the email. Like I was just explaining to them, I wanted you to come on because I can say whatever I want, like I just did, right? About you and your channel and your experience. But I really thought it would be more important to have you kind of come on and you give it from your aspect so people can see you. You're beautiful, see your energy, see your smile. You know, when you hear heroin, you think, you know, bruises everywhere and maybe looking crazy and disheveled. And I'm sure you've had those moments where it maybe gave certain aspects of that. But this is a testimony. This is a testimony.
It's huge.
Huge.
It's
huge.
It's huge.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Sometimes
I cringe when I cringe when I look back on the last couple relapses, and to even be sitting here, I always get emotional because I know the life I lived. So, and it was so not me. So for me to be sitting here in this space, you know, with my homemade backdrop and stuff.
That is yours, that you have created, that belongs to you. So never minimize your efforts. I got my little sign here. I probably, sometime I'm like, should I fix it up? Does it look a little bit, you know, cheesy? But it's me. And you have to be proud of what you have going on. So I love it.
Yeah, I'm happy. I thank God that I'm even able to sit here and tell this. So thank you for this.
Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for reaching out. You could have reached out to anybody. So I wanted to handle this with care. I was so honored. I was like, oh my gosh, she wants me to do promo for this. This is so dope. And like I said, you guys know I cut up and carry on. Like, you know, that's just me, right?
Yeah.
And so when you guys reach out to me for certain things, or you guys are vulnerable about certain things, I appreciate that, because it always allows me to remember who I am. And that's what I told you guys before. We're going to have different layers to who we are, right? We're going to be cussers sometimes. We're going to be maybe, you know what I'm saying, too vulgar at times. Or maybe we'll be more in our walk of faith. Maybe we'll be more. We're always going to have different layers to who we are. We're going to be funny sometimes. Maybe sometimes we're not. We're going to be real serious, and everything is, we got to focus. Because we have a mission we're trying to accomplish. But when you guys are vulnerable and you guys do reach out, it lets me know, it's confirmation that I am exactly who I think I am. I'm exactly who I think I am, and I'm exactly who I know that I am. And it's okay to be me. And I remember at the pop-up shop, I was having a conversation with Kiana, and I was having a conversation with T. And T said something to me, and I was like, I'm not too much, girl. She was like, what, girl? No. And so I just appreciate you guys always just being, you know what I'm saying, comfortable with me.
And we appreciate you for just being you. You know?
Absolutely. So and that's what I said. You guys are confirmation that I can be that. And you guys still love me, and it's okay. So thank you. So now when I was watching your channel, what stuck out to me most was your story about, I believe it was your second relapse. And you were telling me how you had relapsed the first time. Well, not me, but you were telling your audience how you had relapsed the first time and you were trying to get yourself back together. I think you said you were doing well, you were doing good. Then you said you had met an older gentleman and you had your two boys at the time. And you were saying how, you know, you knew it really wasn't a good fit, but, you know, whatever. And you were saying how you weren't doing heroin. You said that you were doing Percocets at the time, or that is what you started with, and it wasn't really a big thing, but you had, that was what you would go to when you wanted to have a good time.
Right.
And I remember thinking to myself, okay, people do Percocet. So I was trying to figure out how we got there. So
Right.
I listened a little bit more, and I remember you saying how, I believe you said someone passed. I think you said your grandfather and your dad. You could correct me if I'm wrong. Or did somebody pass? Or it was something that you said or no, you went through a divorce. That's what it was. You went through a divorce. And I remember because you were cleaning the couches and you were putting the pillows back as you were saying, and you said you were going through a divorce and you wanted something, but that you couldn't find the Percocets at the time. And you said you had been around people that had tried heroin, but you had never tried, but you were always curious. Yeah. And that's when you said that, that time you had tried and you liked it. And so take us back to the day where you wanted to purchase the Percocets. They didn't have it. You had these feelings of wanting to try heroin, never done it. But today you were going to just do it. Take us back to that day, that moment where you were like, today's going to be the day. Like, were you nervous? Were you scared? Was it adrenaline rush? Did you think you were getting yeah.
I didn't know I was going to use heroin that day. Getting Percocets was like a pure luck type thing, because a lot of people just don't have Percocets like that. So if you were able to find them, sweet. If not, then oh well. But I had kind of got used to drinking and stuff like that, but drinking wasn't it wasn't my thing at that time, and I just wanted something more. So I wanted something that I knew could put me to sleep. I just wanted something to relax me and put me to sleep. And I kept hearing about heroin. So when I had called someone, I asked them for Percocets, and they didn't have them. But instead of just getting off the phone, I knew in that moment, like, I wonder if they got that other stuff I've been hearing about. But I didn't know nothing about drugs. I was not raised like that, to where that I knew anything about drugs for real, So I was like, well, do you have anything else? I knew what I was trying, but I'm like,
but you weren't there yet to just ask for it.
Okay. I'm like, well, do you have anything else that, like what? He's like, well, I only got, I think they used to call it dog food.
Okay.
He's like, I got blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I want to try it. I'll try it. I mean, so I remember when he had came over, I remember him saying, man, be careful. Be careful, man. Don't do a lot. If you ain't never did this before, don't do a lot. And I remember being nervous. Okay. I remember being frightened, but I remember I did a little bit. And I honestly feel like after that first time, because I was freshly divorced for like a couple months, and I had went through some suicidal attempts, and I wanted something that was going to take me out of my reality, and I enjoyed it.
Now let me pause you right there. Now, in that moment, because you said you were nervous. So even in that moment and I'm only asking these questions because I want to speak to the reality of how easy it can, how it just happens, and how people don't know, and they just have so many speculations, and they put so much, thoughts and opinions on people. So even in that moment of being scared, knowing this is something that is like kind of next level, how do you think that you were still, how did you like,
And what's so crazy for me to even make that decision, because it's a huge decision, life or death. You hear about, I've always heard, if you try drugs, you could die the first time you ever try them. And I've always prided myself growing up, even as a teenager. I'll get offered a pill on a bus as a teenager, and I'm like, nope. It always ran through my mind, nope. I could literally die just from doing it one time. I always heard that it takes one time. And so for me to have been the kind of mother that I am, and so involved and hands-on, it's so crazy that I would make that decision in that moment, that I could have lost my life then, and I was an active mom. So but like I said, I was doing other things during that time, couple months, frame of, like I said, serious suicidal attempts. And so now, I've been in therapy for a long time, and this past week we've been going over those suicide attempts. And at this point in my life, anytime I talk about it or anything, it makes me cringe. It makes me like, because I have flashes of, if those things would have happened, oh my God, just the thought of my sons not having me, man, it's deep. Like,
it's deep. But wait, so wait, sis. So now because I don't want you to get, and yet I want you to, you good. You overcame.
Yeah.
You don't need to, it's okay. So now, because I'm 420 friendly, right? So let's say me and you out. Let's go back. Let's take ourselves back to that time, right? We I'm coming. Hey, girl, Shawty, I'm going to come over. You got your party favor. I got my party favor. So you use for the first time. Let's get past that. Now, is it a everyday thing? Like, is it an everyday thing? Is it like a party favor thing? Take me back to now when it becomes part of our lifestyle. How do we go from nervousness to, and I want the reality. I don't want you to make it look nasty. I want the fun. Because if somebody asks me about smoking weed, I'm I like, so take us back to a night of just a regular party where we would just have a good time. To show,
it was
to show how it continues.
Yeah, it was every day. From the moment, it was every day. I was still working. My kids would come to work with me, because I would work with kids, so I had the privilege of bringing my kids with me. I was still working. I was doing classes.
You were able to work. You still managed to work.
The divorce was very rough, so I had my two sons in individual counseling. We were in family counseling. I was in counseling. I was still going on until I'm like, it was every day, and I was still, nobody knew. And unless I was honest about it. But then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I think I'm done. I can't keep doing this. And I thought I was just going to be able to stop. And when I called myself stopping, I didn't know what withdrawals was. So I'm at home. I can't sleep. I'm going through all this stuff. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? It got so bad, I ended up going to the hospital because I just thought something was wrong with me. I didn't know nothing about withdrawals until I was in the hospital room, and I ended up Googling, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm having heroin withdrawals. Oh my God. Like, and I knew in that moment, I'm gonna have to continue to do this every day just to feel normal. Like, fuck.
Was it ever fun for you? Like, did you ever do it because you enjoyed it? Okay, see, because that's what I want to know, because I know, because some people do drugs because they enjoy them. Some people do them because they are going through things. So let's be clear. So for the record, let's be clear. You never did it because it was enjoyable. You did it to cope.
Yeah. Okay. The first time, for my first round, that first year that I ever was on heroin, I would wait for the boys to go to bed, and I would go in my room, close the door, and I would use at night. That was like my thing at night, by myself, nobody else, just me, isolated, using. Until until towards the end of that, when people started finding out, I was more open to,
Okay.
if you're around, I'm a,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
so, and then
Okay.
like I said, meeting the 65-year-old man and moving him in, I had somebody to use with, so it was like
Okay.
you know, usually,
Codependency thing.
yeah,
Okay.
but usually it's
And no,
somebody.
and that's what I'm saying again. I just wanted to speak to the misconceptions of an addict, right? Because
Yeah,
I think there are addicts who get high because they like to get high. And like you said, there are some who do it to escape. There are some people who drink because they like to get drunk. And there's some people who drink because they like to escape. Like you said, they want to go to sleep. They don't want to be in their moments there. So I think it's important to understand that just because someone is using or someone is an addict doesn't mean, just same thing with hoarding. Just because you walk into a house, it doesn't mean they like it. It just means that that's what they're doing in order to X, Y, and Z. Now, some people, enjoy collecting things. So again, I just want you to know my questioning is not to. I'm just trying to again speak to different aspects of what it is.
yeah.
Okay. So now, okay, so now let's take a step because we was telling the story. So you moved it. So you moved the older gentleman in. You're now you're using to
Oh,
go to sleep.
a
People
lot.
kind of a
Using
lot.
a lot.
Okay.
Oh, that during that time, the life I was living during that time, man, that I really got to experience being it wasn't I started it definitely started showing. I couldn't hide it no more. People knew, and
Okay.
I was very at that point. I put it out. It was like it was my lifestyle,
Okay.
and I still had my sons.
Okay.
At first they thought I was just smoking weed.
Okay.
I heard them talking one day, and they're like, "I think mom smokes weed,"
Okay.
and until time progressed and they could even, they were getting older at this point and they could even pick up, but I still would take them to sports every single trip. I was still active and involved.
And I think that that's interesting that you say that because today, before we had this one-on-one, I went and I looked at your Instagram. I never really paid attention to your Instagram. I was more so watching your content on
Mhm.
YouTube. And what stuck out to me the most, I don't know if when we get off this live, you'll be able to know based off the pictures that I liked. What stuck out to me the most was how happy your boys are and how they love, like you can see it in they love you. Like they love you. They
Yeah.
love their brother. I saw the picture. I can tell how they embrace
Mhm.
him, how they kiss him, how they hug him. And that touched me because I'm like, another misconception. Kids don't love their mom. Mom is getting high. They're separated from the home. The love has to be restored. It's dysfunctional. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
And it might, but you can tell regardless, and even in those moments they love their mom, and I think that speaks to the level of, again, the character of who you are despite all of the other things that might come into play in our walk and in our journey. And so yeah, that stuck out to me. So that was like, and not that kids don't love their mom, let me not, but again, you were someone who was in a season, and they could have resented you. They could have not liked you. They could, and again, your children are older. He has handsome boys, okay, and they grown, okay, and she has a little one. And so I was like, and again, and so even that, because now we're dealing with teens, right, where moods come in. Like I said, they could have been resentful, they could have been embarrassed, they could have, but you can tell they had a level of respect and they knew their mom.
Yeah.
So even for them to sit, like you said, and be like, I think mom's smoking weed, that they could see something was off. That wasn't their normalcy. And so even as children, they're in tune with you enough to know. And so I think that also just speaks to the level of what kind of mom that you were to them, despite before, during, and after. And it shows up that they love their mom. Like I said, you can tell just the way they smile when you're in the picture. Like, I'm sure nobody can do nothing to you. I'm sure nobody can say nothing to you, can't say nothing about you. And they're handsome boys.
Thank you.
But you can tell they you can't say nothing to you out the way. And that's what I love.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
So okay, so keep I just want to interject, but so take us to your first relapse.
My first relapse was the older guy.
So how long were you using at this point in time?
I was clean for 3 years, and he
So you
was.
started the heroin, you did the heroin for how
I
long before you
I
stopped?
did. I was on heroin for a year,
Okay.
from 2012 to 2013. I was clean from 2013 to 2016. I
Okay.
met in 2016. He was a neighbor, just an older guy, and he gave me a ride to the store one day, and in that moment the conversation went to me saying, like, I've been clean for 3 years, blah blah blah, not knowing that he in that moment was struggling, was on heroin. I would have never guessed, but I was telling him this in a just from how the conversation was going, like, yeah, I've been clean for 3 years and whatever. He never even told me that he was using. Even when I said that, never told me. And so after a couple of days, he started bringing by Percocets. He would just knock on my door and just hand me some Percocets. But I'll never forget, he came over and he sat on the couch and he opened it up. And I remember looking at it, being clean for 3 years. Man, I remember that moment, and I remember how it didn't take me much to think about it. I didn't hesitate. In my mind, maybe I did, but it was such a fast reaction of, okay. And from that moment forward, he was just giving it to me for free, um, until I was depending on him for it, and he used it to be able to come over and stay late. It moved to him moving in. It moved to us having sex. It was used, and then he was like paying my bill. I was like $700 a week,
So
and
so wait, so let me pause you right there because again, let's go back into how it all can go.
mhm.
So clean for 3 years, doing what you needed to be doing, taking care of you, take a ride with somebody, and like that. Now, in hindsight, what is your advice to anyone that could ever be in that car moment? Or what is your advice to anyone who is clean and doesn't know other energies around them? Because in hindsight, I feel like I'm mad. Like I'm mad that I felt like he prayed. I felt like he heard you. I felt like he took that car ride. I felt like he plotted on you, and I felt like you were just in your mind. You're like, okay. And so, what is your advice for anyone who is maybe clean, strong, or maybe strong mentally in the sense of they can fight it on their own, but against maybe peer pressure, it's not so that. What would your advice be for someone in that moment, or what do you suggest for someone if they're ever in that moment?
you know, it's like I want to say not to disclose personal information so soon with people that you don't have that type of rapport with. But then again, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, like, you know, sometimes you're so proud of yourself, and you want to share that information. But I just think in that situation, an older guy, 65-year-old guy, I did not know him. I didn't even I really shouldn't even been getting a ride from him, neighbor or not. I didn't even know him, that he was my neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like when you are on a recovery journey, um, relapse is possible. So I feel like now I'm very careful about my surroundings. I'm
Okay.
very careful about who I'm around. If you did watch my videos, I'm a very isolated person. I just recently got back, talking to family, cousins, and stuff like that. But I am very isolated, and I love it that way. because I've been really working on me. Like, if anybody see me, I'm either in a group, counseling set. Like, I'm very careful about my surroundings, and just how much people know that don't know me, how much they know about me. Because one thing I'm going to be very careful with guys, because he took advantage of the situation until, he hung it over my head until we, like I said, started having sex, till I moved him in, and until I was very dependent upon him for everything. Like I said in that video, I remember once he told me, "You're never gonna get off. You
Yes, I
love it
remember you
too
saying that.
You love it too much. You're in love with snorting this up your nose." I mean, he would try to belittle me in those moments, but I'll always remember, I could see his face right now telling me how I was never going to get clean, I was never going to get off, and how I loved it too
Wow.
much. And
Wow.
for him, I found out almost a year ago that he has since overdosed, and he's not here.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, that's kind of deep. How, my whole life is just different,
Yeah.
to where he wouldn't even recognize it, and he's unfortunately not here, so it's kind of but I guess
No,
I
it's
didn't
that
love it
that
too.
was it was things happen the way they're designed to happen, and I think it's further speaks more to the testimony of the power of the divine and the wanting
Yeah,
to. That's wanting to be, and putting the intent into changing is a personal effort. And if you want to, you will. And he obviously didn't want to, and he didn't. And that's a result of not putting in the work. You get what I'm saying? And allowing yourself to crash and allowing the devil to use you. And so I'm proud that you didn't allow that to stay in your mind. And again, in hindsight, like you said, it's like, wow, like here you are speaking that upon me, and this is and so again, a lot of deflection. And so that's another reason why, like you said, you have to be careful about energy around you, because people who are going through things you're going through, I can support the people I react on, um, more
yeah,
so, yeah. They have certain energies around them. And when their life isn't what they want it to be, people will project that onto you.
mhm,
Like they'll say your children are funny looking,
right,
or they're ugly,
right,
or they'll talk
right,
about that family
right,
members because they're not close with theirs,
right,
or they're. So you have to be in control of your mind, and you have to know that, yeah, you just, okay, you know what I'm saying?
right.
And so I'm really happy that you were able to overcome that. So now, okay, so now let's take this. So because I want them to come to your channel, I don't want to give them too much.
Mhm.
So now, using you got clean for 3 years, you met the older gentleman, you move him in, so now you're back. So now, question: was each relapse the same easy process, like, or was each relapse a different? So how was each relapse?
What I've learned is that I someone told me each time you go back out there, it's worse.
Okay.
Now, the first time when it was just me isolated, using at night, and then progressing to, all day sometimes, I feel like I I managed I didn't see the ugly side of it. I feel like I managed it well. I still kind of held it together. But boy, oh boy, that second, the time with him, that was the worst time. That was a really hard time. It went on from 2016 to 2018, and like I said, the life I lived, it just makes me cringe, man, for real. But yeah, it gets worse each time as you go back out there. The last relapse, in 2021, it was less than a year. I'm happy I was able to gather myself before it, because it was getting ugly. But yeah, I would have to say that second relapse was the worst of them all. And the third one, I almost lost everything again. But just the life I lived with the second one. Yeah,
Okay.
it gets worse. So I think if I was to go back out there now, it would be worse than the other times.
So now take me to, so let's talk about some positive things because you have a little one. So
Mhm.
take me to you being clean. You get, okay, so you relapsed now. You said from 16 to 18.
So that
Clean. Take me to 18. Take me to you being clean. What's going on in 18?
So let me just say this. So when I was married,
Mhm.
I always desired to have another baby. I always wanted another baby. But I struggled with something called PCOS, and me and my husband, we used to go. Our insurance, it didn't cover
Okay.
these appointments, so we were like paying out of pocket,
Okay.
going to fertility doctors, and 15 year. I mean, I've done procedures. I've paid out of pocket. I've all of that, and it just never happened. Ended up divorcing, and moving forward, I think when the boys hit 17 and 15, I was just like, I just thank God that I was able to experience having two sons.
Okay.
Like, it's fine. I come to terms after 15 years of I'll never get this desire.
Okay.
So getting clean in 2018, and like really doing the work, and when I found out I was pregnant in 2020, I could I I I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I'm living a life that I fantasized about. I fantasized about being with this guy, being clean, having this baby, the boys being like, I couldn't believe in those moments everything that I had fantasized about and desired was coming true. Me and the boys, we had went and got baptized together. Life was beautiful, but somehow I ended up relapsing again. That was this past time, the third time. And but yeah, I got my Kobe, and two now.
And
And I'm
what,
just like,
so now, but what do you think? What do you think? Why do you think that was? Why do you think all of that was happening? Why do you think so much good was happening? Do you think it was because you did the work? Do you
you
think it
know,
was? Do you
a
feel like
lot
it
of
was earned?
people, a lot of people think that, you know, um, because I had rekindled a relationship with someone from the past, which it did help. I was losing my apartment. I was, you know, I think having his support and him moving me and the boys in with him and just saying, I just want you to focus on recovery, getting your life together. Don't worry about nothing. I got you. And that's what I did. And yeah, it helped that he was a support system, but me, what I did the work, and like Monday through Friday, like I was literally everything recovery. I was at church, I was giving testimonies, I had even fantasized about seeing myself in front of the church giving a testimony, because when I was in active addiction, I used to fantasize about that. So
And
to
here
be
you were
living
doing
and
it.
doing all these things that I was fantasizing about was
It
wild.
was
But yeah, I did the
you're
work.
walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
You're walking
And
in your purpose, and I think, and you know what's so interesting? Because he's always working. I'm gonna be honest. When you first came on right now, during this conversation, what kept popping up in my head was there's two things that kept popping up in my head. First thing was, why she never tried crack or cocaine. That was the
it
first thing.
was offered from people. Yeah.
Yeah. Second thing was maybe it's a blessing she chose heroin for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the last thing, and it stuck. So now we're talking, and now that I'm asked you that question, and you said I did the work, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing that. That God will give you certain things that you can handle. You might not understand, but He'll always, even when we pick our addictions, He'll give you things that He feels you can handle. And I feel like that answered my own question. I feel like you said, any other relapse with the heroin, I might not be this. So can we imagine if it was cocaine, if it was crack, if it was So I even in that moment, God still had you. And I think even in the moments of addiction, he still made sure you didn't veer off to the stronger or the harder.
Yeah.
He still gave you something that, oh, I wish you wouldn't, but I know if my daughter goes and does the work, my daughter can overcome. And I think again that just speaks to just just the level of people doing the work, overcoming, believing in themselves, having courage, having motivation. Like you said, it took you various times to come and go, but you never gave up on yourself. And I think, like I said, I'm just very proud. I'm proud, and I'm happy that again it wasn't that. Like I was wondering to myself, like, I wonder why she that. I wonder why, because African American people, when we hear heroin, we're like,
right. You know, when I would go to some of these guys' house and stuff like that, they would offer me, like, you want like hard crack, meth, and for some reason I just always stood my ground as to, no, this is my drug of choice, and I'm gonna stick to this. I don't want to,
Yeah.
But one thing, before I forget, Yanni, I came across your channel because a year and a half ago, what was that, 2021, 2022, when I was in my second relapse, I was trying to hide it from my partner. I had Kobe. I'm trying to be a good mom, and I had this job, and so I used to try to get clean on my own. I'm gonna have to go through these withdrawals. So I would lock myself in a downstairs bedroom, right? And I would tell my partner I thought I had COVID. I was acting like I had COVID for weeks, but the first week I was acting like it was COVID, and I needed to isolate from them and just needed him to care for Kobe. That's how I came across your channel. When I was in that room going through really bad withdrawals, I came across your channel, and I would start watching. I didn't know nothing about the mommies and none of that kind of stuff. But I would watch you in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep, and I would like thrashing all around, and I would just binge watch all your videos because just to try to make time go by. I just needed time to go by and something. So that's how I was like trying to get clean and bad withdrawal. And I would just hope that I would look forward to you posting just to take my mind off it,
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, I'm glad that I posted, and I'm glad that I was able to do that for you. And now it just makes me be like, damn, I hope I didn't say anything that was like offending her, because my commentary be offending girl. And you never know who's listening, and so that's why we have to be more intentional with what we say when we're saying things. And God, that's what I said, the universe. I'm like, when you reached out to me, I was so like, oh my God. Because it's something about your energy. Like, again, and so now let's take us, because this is where I get excited. Because we're talking. So I'm watching your videos, right? And you're telling us a story time. And I remember you were talking about the time where this was back to when you were still with the gentleman, or he was still living with you. And you were saying how it was snowing that day and you wanted to go get you something. And you were saying how it was snowing outside and it was cold. You said, but you were determined you were going to go do it. So you said you went and you got it. And you said, as you were walking back, you just had this moment of like, what the hell am I doing here? And you said you had that moment with you and your maker. So so that touched me. But as I remember, as you were saying that, I feel like you were still back over at the couches, because I was watching you. I like the way you did it, because I don't really like cleaning videos, but I was paying attention. I feel like in that moment you were talking about the snow falling on your face.
I was in the kitchen doing the dishes.
Okay, I was just about to say, I felt like you were either with the carpets. I remember you were up and down the steps, and then you were in the kitchen. But when you were in the kitchen, you were washing with the scrubber that has the handle. And I remember as you were going around the pot, for some reason, the way you went around that pot, girl, I said, oh, she clean, honey. That girl clean. And then you got that bathroom, honey.
I got that from you, Mom.
I said, oh yeah, so I said, and I started to leave it in your comments. I said, So I did leave a comment, but I started to add into the comment, you should start your own cleaning business. And I said, no, don't put that, because you never know who's preying on her downfall. So tell her privately. And as soon as I went to the email to tell her, you guys, she could correct you if I'm wrong. Soon as I went to the email to say to her, you should start your own cleaning business, her email is telling me, yeah, Yanni, and I just started my own cleaning business. I said, I was just coming to tell you that. So you see how, like I said, I think, again, never regret your walk. As long as you can beat the battles, never, anybody in the chat, never regret your walk, because everything serves as a purpose. If you would have never maybe went through that phase and did what you did, maybe you would have never learned what your purpose was. And your purpose is to help others feel good and to motivate others. When you went into showing, I think you were doing like an estimate and you were showing how you did the business. The woman was so excited that you were there. You had your notepad. Most people would be embarrassed that their home was in that condition. But even in that moment, you had your phone. She wasn't embarrassed. She wasn't ashamed. She was excited that you were there. She really felt like you were there to help her. You gave her that satisfaction of, don't worry, we're going to get it clean. We're going to get it organized. And that just spoke to me again, back to who you are as a person. I don't give a fuck what you put in you, what you did in you, how you twerked it, popped it, wiggled it around. When it's time and it's said and done and you have to answer and he has to, again, check off certain characteristics of you, those characteristics can never be tainted. And I want you to always remember that. Like I said, I paid very close attention to a lot of things. And like I said to you, all I don't just take y'all money. I could, but I don't, because what's the point? You know what I'm saying? What was the point of me just, because she's covered addict of 3 addictions and she's a mom of 3. No, like, you really have a purpose, and I want this to be a testimony to anybody. Never give up on yourself, and walk whatever walk he wants you to go. It's a reason for that. Whatever, even me doing reactions. If I would have never did reactions, we wouldn't be sitting here. You know what I'm saying? There's other people that I've helped get through things, and they've helped me get through things. There's people I've met along this way. I wouldn't be sitting here with this t-shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be sitting here with this sign. So one of my subscribers made this logo. You get what I'm saying? One of my subscribers made the sign, made this t-shirt, soaps. I wouldn't have these lashes on if Styles by Leilani wasn't. So I don't regret doing reactions. And I always say to myself, should I take this down? Time check. Oh, no, I don't know. Okay, but thank you for that, because when we double up the times, I can't really tell. I think it's about that. I think it's about that time. I don't want it to cut off. So real quick, I say all that to say, just never give up on yourself, and just keep walking the walk, because there's always a reason why God is allowing you to do something. When something is allowed to be done, because if God don't want it to be done, he'll stop it. Trust me on that. He'll stop it right there. When he's allowing you to get away with certain things, it's for a reason. It's for a bigger purpose. But real quick before we wrap this up, because I don't want it to cut us off and end, I want you guys to go subscribe to her channel. She has great content. Like I said, overcame, very transparent. Just great energy. And I want you guys to always, like I said, just know that whatever you're going through, you can get through it if you believe in yourself, and you know that there's bigger than what's right in front of us. You get what I'm saying? So never regret your walks, never regret your bad days, never regret the dark times, never regret that, because you wouldn't be able to be sitting here with this lifetime. Okay? So I'm so proud of you. I want you to keep doing your work, keep doing your purpose, keep helping other people, keep inspiring other people. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not doing enough. Those boys are living proof. They're a testimony that you're doing everything. Shout out to Mama Dorsey. Your mom, Dorsey is her name? I don't want to mispronounce it. Am I saying it correct?
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Dorsey. Shout out to Mama Dorsey in the chat who is here. Thank you so much for supporting your daughter. Mama Dorsey, this is FSU. I'm not kicking you out. You're more than welcome to stay. Just know we cut up over here. We're having a good moment, but we cut up, Mama Dorsey, okay? So if you ever pop into a live and there's some custody carrying on and there's some wide tail heavyset girl, that's another part of me, Mama Dorsey. I'm all those things, okay? But I am, okay? So I love you guys.
Thank you
thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you guys so much for respecting our space and respecting Sharday. And we're gonna have a follow-up of this. Okay, we're gonna have a follow-up of this because I want you guys to who also came addiction to come on and kind of share your testimony. Shout out to the Mindful Empress. And just all of you ladies, okay? But I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And go subscribe to my girl's channel. I'm going to put this, I'm going to put this video up. So if you guys, missed it, go give her a view, go give her a share. And again, go check out her content. She has great content. And she can clean her ass off. So book her. But you got to fly her out. But she won't clean. She can book my girl, period. Okay? Love you guys. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.